Australia coming out on top 2-0. There will be an air of confidence about the Australians' game from the get-go here. It's exactly how they started their semi-final against Hermanova and Slikova. But the first point on the board goes to Brazil. Brazil in the blue and yellow vests, and of course Australia in the white and blue. Lovely little set there from Carol to give Antonelli the chance to go over the block and put the first point on the board for Brazil.
Also, something to monitor, Antonelli and Carol just played about an hour ago in the semifinal. They played in the second semifinal, and due to live television, they are only given about an hour of rest. So let's see how quickly they bounce back.
It's a very good point you make, Dane, but maybe they're still sharp from that semi-final match because they put two very quick, decisive points on the board here, Brazil. They've by far looking the better team. Early exchanges, I hear you say back home, yes, but they're literally looking very sharp in these early plays.
Remember, Antonelli had a swing to win the first set in the semifinal. It did not happen. They went all the way in overtime into the 30s, actually, and ended up losing to their fellow countrywomen. But wow, was that something? 31-29, they lost that first set, and Antonelli playing really at a high level. It's a matter of just continuing that here in this bronze medal final.
Oh, service ace from Clancy. She's a very big, strong hitter of the ball, Telika Clancy. 26-year-old from Adelaide, Australia, right down the middle. Brazil have no answer to that power play.
Clancy, a full-time blocker, so she'll rip the serve and then run to the net. That time the ball goes long, so no opportunity to get up there and block, but she has really long arms, is long and kind of lanky, as we call it, and has a huge reach, can get over the net, and a very powerful hitter.
That was very close, that serve. Carol serves the ball in for Brazil. Well, they love to go over on two. We're going to see it a lot. We've been debating it a fair bit here in the commentary box, Dane. It's very quick, it's very dynamic. I'm not sure whether it's the secret to absolute success, but it certainly worked well enough there.
Yeah, you know, it works at times. They won the Espino 4-star event.
This time an ace from Artacho.
And I think they're over on two, we'll call it, they're over on two offense, over on the second contact. It is great at times, and then sometimes it seems like it's forced or premeditated, and maybe the pass isn't right on, but they still go for it. So you really have to pick your spots when you go over on that second contact.
It's another good shot from Antonelli. Almost as if Antonelli's trying to make up for the disappointment of not closing out a semi-final match earlier today here at the Red Bull Beach Arena. Scores are all tied at 4-all. Here is Antonelli with the serve. Floats the ball into Artacho. Clancy again over on two. Brazil are starting to figure it out. Oh, well, that was a bit of luck for Australia there. Antonelli put that ball out.
I don't know if she's going to challenge this one, but she thought it was in. There it is. Oh, it is close. The line does move. It's a matter of if there was any type of splash, and it does not look like the Brazilians will challenge. Remember, each team gets 2 challenges per set if they're not happy with the call. Of course, there's only a few different things you can challenge, ball in or out, whether there's a block touch or not, whether there's an antenna touch, of course, if there was a foot fault. So you can't challenge everything, but there are quite a few things you can challenge. And with this Hawkeye system, with the 16 cameras running at 200 frames per second, it doesn't really miss anything.
Antonelli puts another ball out of play. There's a break for Australia here, 6-4. Antonelli puts her third successive shot out of bounds. And that's allowing Australia, just as we were saying, Antonelli comes into this bronze medal match all fired up. She's pushing just a little too hard, forcing 1 or 2 of those shots, and that's why they're ending up out of bounds. And a big serve from Clancy. She's already there at the net.
again, ball's out of bounds. So I think Australia might have done their homework, scouted the semifinals. Remember when Agatha and Duda were going to Carroll. Carroll was dynamic, athletic, she was bringing the heat, and we said maybe they should try Antonelli. She might be giving up a couple of points, and obviously Australia believes that that is the ticket right now to go to Antonelli, and she's been handing them over 4 in a row for Australia, and that forces Brazil to call the timeout. Not the start that Brazil wanted.
Yeah, the coaches or the two players themselves, Artacho and Clancy, have watched these ladies in action in their semi-final. You can see, you've called it perfectly, Dana. I think targeting Antonelli takes this lady on the right of your screens, Carroll, out of the match. No attacking play from her. And it's a tactic that's starting to work to Australia's favour. 8-4 in the first set of this bronze medal match is an impressive start for the ladies from down under.
Yeah, I think they're strategizing, they're executing on a game plan right now that seems to be working. And remember how upset that Australia was after they lost to Marketa Slukova and Barbara Hermanova. It was a match that seemed in complete control for Australia, and they just let things fall apart. So now they're going to try to take it out on Brazil.
Great block from Clancy at the net. That's her first one of this opening set. A big serve, and now a stuffed block for the Aussie. And that puts pay to the timeout of Brazil. Now 5 clear Australia. There's the serve again from Clancy that's giving Brazil a few problems. That ball is out of play. That is 5 back-to-back attacking shots from Antonelli that have been pushed out of the court.
Wow, and that was out as well, just by a very slight margin, but nonetheless out. And right now, Antonelli has given up quite a few unforced errors, maybe enough for an entire match, and she's done it in a matter of about 6 points. So she needs to rein it in right now, kind of refocus and get back to the type of volleyball that she's capable of playing. This is not characteristic.
No, absolutely. Here's her partner, Carroll, with serve. Serving Artacho. Oh, and she's put that out of play. It's a valuable point for Brazil.
Beautiful set. Look at the hands of Clancy, putting it in a nice hittable position, and wow, that ball very close. You know what's surprising to me is that we have not seen any challenges, and there's been very close calls on the line, but I think the referees have been right on top of it. They've been correct in all of their rulings.
Artacho with the service. Here's... Well, that's a better shot there from Antonelli. Trying her best to keep her focus here. She's having a little bit tough time of it. Trying to keep that power on her play, but not push the ball out of bounds. Here she is with service. Jump float to Artacho. Now on the attack for Australia. The block is there from Carroll. Read that perfectly.
You know, we're seeing an interesting pattern with Australia. They get this nice lead, and then it seems like they're not able to continue it. They kind of give it back. I don't know if that's a complacency, if you get up by 4 or 5 points and you don't play with that sense of urgency and they let the opposition back in. But if they get up by 3 or 4, they got to be focusing on getting up by 5 or 6, 6 or 7, and expanding that lead.
2 attempts on the second contact from Clancy do not work, and Brazil make them pay. As you were saying earlier, Dane, when it looks natural, it's a very effective tactic. But this looks forced now. And Brazil have got the measure of it.
Well, Brazil knows that that ball's coming over on the second contact more times than not, and they're ready for it, they're waiting for it. This time, Clancy tries to drop, and Antonelli splitting the difference right between Artacho and Clancy. Nice follow through, right to the deep middle part of the court. When in doubt, go deep middle. It usually is an open piece of real estate. There's that force, and it's costly. Artacho trying to force the second contact by Clancy, and she shoots it directly over the net. Carol Solberg Salgado is waiting, and she crushes it right down the middle. As we said, it's a risky offense. Going on the second contact, and Artacho didn't measure that first pass well enough. Ends up being kind of a giveaway to the Brazilians.
Antonelli's errors cancel out her successful attacks there. A lot of communication between Carol and Antonelli. Quite passionate in their first semi-final. Technical timeout, halfway point of the first set bronze medal match here at the Rebel Beach Arena, the Rottenbaum Stadium of Hamburg, Germany. As they did in their semi-final earlier today, Australia come out firing on all cylinders, extend that lead, build a nice gap between the two, but they've let Brazil back into this match, as they did with the Czech Republic earlier today. Good shot from Carol of Brazil to tie the scores at 11-all.
Again, Australia looked like they were in complete control, and guess what? Brazil is right back in this one. So all those hitting errors by Antonelli have been nullified, and they've gotten themselves back into it. There is a great execution of going over on the second contact. Brazil knew it was happening, trying to block it, trying to dig it. They are trying to funnel that ball cross court right to Antonelli. This time the ball's hit just a little too straight down, and Antonelli can't get there in time. So Brazil is waiting for that over on two second contact.
It's another big serve from Clancy, 86 kilometers per hour speed on the ball. And the Australian turns and burns there really quickly. Good power play from Brazil.
Clancy controls the block. Nice play, nice composure there. Gets set up again. Antonelli going right down the middle, just in between the blocker, and Artacho gets a piece of it. She just can't control it. See the bandage on the right ankle of Carol due to a little ankle injury that she's nursing.
Good play again from Clancy at the net.
Really nice set, nice offense right there. Good pass by Clancy, good set by Artacho, and then Clancy's able to rip that ball. Carol a little late. Traditionally, she's a little late on her block. She's still on her way up when that ball gets hit, and that's why she doesn't block that ball successfully. Oh, what a shot by Antonelli right over the net, and the blocker looked like Artacho had read the almost got to the spot in time, but the shot just a little too short. Make it unforced hitting error number 6 for Antonelli. Makes a nice dig, and look at her little 360 turnaround here as she gets ready for the approach, and she gets a little bit underneath it.
It's another good serve from Clancy. She really does put some spectacular topspin on that ball, along with the speed and power, over 75 kilometers per hour. The break is back with Australia now at 15-13. Quick side switch. Another good serve from Clancy. Oh, and is that out again? Yes, it is. More attacking errors from Antonelli of Brazil. Yeah. Doing exceptionally well on the serve receive. It's a little under this. It's out again. Number 7.
That's crazy to have 7 hitting errors and Brazil actually still in striking distance.
Mixing it up, this time serving Carroll, Australia. That's probably why you don't want to serve Carroll. She was electrifying in her semi-final early this morning. And watch this here now. It's a lovely strike of the ball.
I frankly, I don't understand how one player has 7 hitting errors and you go the other direction. Oh, Joust, Artacho controls it at the net. Such a fiery player. This ball gets set a little too tight. She's somehow able to get the leverage and push up. Right there is the Joust. And give Artacho a lot of credit right there. What Carroll should have done is just poke that ball over the block instead of trying to push it down.
Same issue for Antonelli, just giving too many points away to Australia here. Now this is where the Aussies need to really focus and close this out now.
8 hitting errors for Antonelli. Great set by Artacho, and that ball's going to be in, so 5-point lead now for Australia. And this first set is theirs for the taking.
Yeah, you take away those hitting errors of Antonelli, or you add them to the Brazilian score, and they'd have wrapped up this first set 8 minutes ago. But right now, the advantage is with Australia at 19-14. Artacho serves. Here's Antonelli again up at the net. No, it's a poor serve. A poor set, I should say. Too easy that for Clancy. Set point for Australia.
This is not a well-played set by Brazil. I mean, this is your worst nightmare, coming out and having 8 hitting errors. And there's a setting error right over the net. And Clancy takes care of that one with ease with a poke to the corner, and you can just see the body language. Brazil's ready to move on to the second set. So this should be pretty academic. They're going to have 5 more set points here. Receiving serve where you have the advantage. It's a lot harder to score a point while serving.
And there it is, 21-15. Australia win the first set here in the bronze medal match of the FIVB World Tour Finals. And the big disappointment, surely, will be for Maria Antonelli. Over 8 attacking errors. And that defines the comfortable scoreline for the Australians. She knows it. We've got the stats to show you in just a short while. This is Artacho wrapping it up, closing it out. But at this kind of world level, you cannot afford so many errors.
3-0 in aces, tied at 1 in terms of blocks. Hasn't been a big blocking match by any stretch. The whole storyline in that first set was hitting errors by Antonelli. Here's Australia's serve placement, 57% going to Maria Antonelli. And I'm surprised that Carol has 19% of the serves. I mean, I would completely avoid her at this point, and you gotta pressure Antonelli to see if she can get out of the trouble that she's in.
We're away with the second set. Antonelli gets a strike down to the sand in the court. Brazil put the first point on the board in set 2. It's a must-win situation for the South Americans if they're to force this match into a third set tiebreak. Here's Antonelli with service. That's a better shot from Maria Antonelli. 34-year-old out of Rio de Janeiro, hugely experienced player. This is her 143rd FIVB World Tour competition. And she needs to draw on that experience now to regain her confidence. Good power play from Clancy of Australia.
Big thing that we will be watching is how Australia handles the situation. They have Brazil on the ropes, no question about it. Can they deliver a knockout punch? Can they get a 4 or 5 point cushion here and completely put the pressure on Brazil? And what we've seen over the semifinals and early in this match, a lot of times when they get a little bit of a lead or put some pressure, then they allow that team to get back in it. Right now, they need to step it up with that killer instinct. So net violation looks like it's going to be on Carol of Brazil. And so, point for Australia. There's the press, a little too much by Carol. Looked like she jumped a little unbalanced, and that caused her to net.
Oh, and Clancy puts that ball out of play. She'd done all the work. It was her point for the taking.
I mean, this really can't happen. She has an opportunity to get the kill there and then just put it in the deep corner. And that's just out of bounds. And this team, if they could just get a little more consistent, they would be dangerous. Those are free opportunities, plays that you have to really make it happen. Look at that block by Carol.
Those blocks are coming because she knows that Clancy's going to go over on the second contact. They've got to mix it up a little bit, surely, Dane.
I can't believe they're trying that even in transition. That one's off the top of the net. They try to go on the second contact. This time it is Antonelli who gets the ball up. There's the final shot by Artacho. And it ends up out of bounds, but how about Carol at the net, blocking Clancy on multiple occasions. And so Australia needs to switch it up. Brazil for sure locked in on her hitting pattern right now, and 5-2 lead for Brazil. That was interesting. It did look like an open hand situation. There was the block never touched the ball, so there was no joust. Usually if the ball is touched simultaneously and there's a joust, you can have an open hand. There it is, right there, the open fingers on the ball. See those open fingers? And the blocker never actually touches the ball, so you cannot attack with open use of the fingers like that. Hard to see in real time, but Brazil definitely thought the violation was there. No call, point Australia, and then Australia giving it right back with a serve in the bottom of the net.
Jump float service from Carroll. Over on 2. That's when it looks good and it works effectively. But,
well, the reason that works really well is Carroll's actually serving, so she never gets to the net to block in time. That's kind of when you want to go over on that second contact. Surprising that Brazil served Artacho knowing this is coming, and Carroll's got to get all the way to the net. She's got to maybe serve that ball a little deeper, give herself more time to run up to the net and get set. And is that another serve out of bounds? So right there, when you're getting some momentum, Clancy goes out of bounds, and that's really an issue they need to rectify to continue to keep the pressure on.
oh no. Well, that was a good shot. Another example of attacking on the second contact. Good serve receive from Artacho. A little pokey over the top of the block. No defense there for Brazil. Here's Clancy. Struggling a little with her serve. But not with that one. A beauty. Antonelli gives it right back. 77 kilometers per hour, the speed of the ball on serve.
Barely getting it between the block and that sideline. Not a lot of room to work with for Antonelli.
And that's what Antonelli started doing in the first set. Just a little too casually hitting the ball out of play. Great, again, hustle from her partner, Carroll. But with all the time in the world.
Carroll's not up early enough. She's got a block. She's got about a 1.5 foot gap between her and the net, and that's why that ball's rattling in between. She has to jump earlier if she wants to get a block. That one off the block and out of bounds.
Still with the advantage, Brazil. They have to win this second set to stay in the match.
Solid hit by Artacho right there. Finally, she gets an opportunity offensively, and she's shown that she can really hold her own. Just 5'9" 175 centimeters tall. She's got a nice vertical leap, very athletic, and it's got a lot of accurate finesse shots.
Oh, service ace from Clancy.
Clancy proving to be an awesome server from the back line. This one freezes Carroll. All she can do is watch and hope that that ball lands out of bounds, but not that time. Australia creeping back in.
Carroll gets underneath it with an excellent receive of serve and then finishes it off after a lovely set from her partner Antonelli here.
Still kind of baffled why they continue to go to Carroll when Antonelli seemed to be in the giving mood, hitting 8 balls out of bounds in the first set.
I do agree with you there, Dane. And you can see Carroll's confidence now at the net and all over the court, to be fair. He's starting to reach an all-time high. 11-8, heading to the technical timeout in this second set. Just a couple of points away, but they need to shut Carroll out of this game like they did in the first set, Australia.
contacting it at the same time. Therefore, you can have an open hand and push the ball. But if you're just an attacker, you can't attack with that open hand and use those fingers. That's what Brazil was trying to argue, but that time the call was definitely correct.
Halfway point of the second set, Brazil lead Australia 12 points to 9, but Australia have won the first set 21-15. Brazil must win this second set to stay in the match.
Antonelli ripping that cross court. Even Artacho, who's a great defender, couldn't get her hands on it in time to control it. There's a look at Antonelli on the left. And Carol Solberg Salgado on the right. Her sister Maria Clara, obviously a successful FIVB career. Her brother Pedro Salgado Solberg, also an amazing player. And also their mother Isabel, who played in the 90s on the FIVB tour. Carol has 2 children now, Jose and Salvador. And you got to think that they will one day grow up and play on the FIVB tour as well.
The Salgado-Solberg dynasty. 3-point advantage for Brazil. Maria Antonelli. Brazilian fans doing everything they can to whip up some local support here. Save from Artacho, and she finishes it off as well. The serve from Antonelli going off the tape of the net, taking all of the direction and speed out of the ball, but really digging deep and puts it away beautifully. That's a big score for Australia, going out of the technical timeout. Just 2 behind. Now, confidence is high. Lovely little trick shot there.
Artacho, despite the fact being the shortest player on the court, she is crafty and creative when she's up at the net. She's caused all sorts of problems for Carol, winning jousts, that time poking the ball by the block. I love her fire. Nice lofty set up and down. There's Antonelli coming in, and that time she's got her arms calibrated correctly, not missing that shot.
Second contact, or over on 2, as we like to say. Working effectively for Australia. I know we've been a little critical of perhaps saying it's a tactic that is used too often, but it's very effective. Scores are tied at 13 all.
Nice block by Clancy, controls it. Artacho gives her the set on the second contact, and then for the third contact right there, Clancy putting it away. And right now, 4 out of the last 5 points have gone Australia's way. Another ball hit out of bounds by Antonelli. She has to be kind of shaking her head, baffled, trying to figure out what is wrong. But she's at, by my count, 9 hitting errors. I mean, she's almost in double digits. You don't see that very often.
And certainly not
for her.
Bronze medal match at the World Tour Finals. Here's Carol now with Brazil up at the net with Clancy. Another error from Brazil. The break is back with Australia at 15-13. As we said at the beginning of this broadcast, Australia beat this Brazilian duo back in early July at the Espino 4-star event in Portugal. And they are right on track here to wrap this bronze medal match here in Hamburg, Germany. a similar style in 2 sets rather than 3. Now, Brazil have used up their timeout, wanting to stop the play here. Each team is allowed to call 1 timeout of 30 seconds per set for the points runs.
It's amazing. 6 out of 7 consecutive for Australia. And you know what? They would love to finish this thing up in 2 straight. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, a big turnaround, because they were down here. Brazil was in control, looked like they had vengeance on their mind, not playing very well in the first set, and looked like Brazil was going to control this second set, but Australia has got different plans. They're stepping up their game.
They're in trouble here again, Brazil. Oh, well played by Maria Antonelli. Goes right to her partner and said thank you for a great set there from Carol.
Quite a bit off the net, and Carol just takes a chance, puts it right on top, and Antonelli going up against the taller Clancy, but is able to get it done. Look at Maria Antonelli elevating, sacrificing anything to get that ball back up to the net, and she's moving pretty well. I don't think she's too hampered by that right ankle that's bandaged.
Antonelli with service for Brazil. That's an error from Artacho. And that allows Brazil to tie the scores. Calling that timeout has most definitely worked for the Brazilians. Just slowing the pace of the game down ever so slightly. Beautiful block from Carol. The lead back with Brazil.
Right when Australia looks like they have all sorts of momentum, up 15-13, had scored 6 of 7 points and got themselves back in control with the lead, and all the pressure on Carol and Maria Antonelli. Brazil somehow manufactures 3 points of their own, trying to make it 4. Oh, just on the outside of the line, a much-needed point for Clancy. Couldn't have been much closer. You see the line jump. Any part of the ball hitting that line is ruled inbounds.
Good serve from Clancy. Right on the line, the shot from Carol. Advantage back with Brazil. Success in this second set for the Brazilians will take us to a 3rd set tie break. Success for Australia will mean the bronze and $50,000 US of prize money. Need to dig deep here now, Brazil. Carol with the service. It's just a float. Oh, and Artacho has hit that one out as well. Now Australia seem to be picking up the attacking errors.
It's a tough bronze medal final. You know, it's really a case of a lot of errors happening on both sides of the net. A lot of hitting errors. You don't usually see this, but it is a difficult match to play after rebounding from the semifinal.
Clancy puts that ball down on the second contact with precision and power. Australia are just 1 behind Brazil here. Australia turn this one around and wrap it up 2 sets to 0.
How about the crowd here in Hamburg? They have come out to support. You know, sometimes when there's not a hometown team in the Final Four, You might not see the crowds, but they have come out and they are having an absolute great time getting ready for the gold medal final, which will be soon after the conclusion of this match. But it looks like this one's going to come down to the wire. We very well might be going to a third set.
Points on the board for Australia.
Here's the deal right now. Australia down a point. Brazil still is in position to have that 2-point lead if they can take care of the serve reception here. But Australia looking to try to figure out a point. That ball just long. And with Clancy, it's kind of been either a really tough serve or the serve out of bounds. She's going for it.
Set point for Brazil. And set point for Brazil means we go into a third set tie break. Here now is Carroll to serve the ball. Serves it to Artacho. That's been the Brazilian tactic. But the over on 2 works for Australia. They pull one back. Second set point for Brazil.
That's a great hit right down that line middle. And it looked like Carroll was saying that Antonelli should have been in that area. Bit of confusion between them all day today.
Oh, Carroll's blocked Artacho at the net. 3-4 occasions in this second set. 21-19. Brazil win this second set. Australia took the first at 21-15. We're going to a third set where the scoreline needs to be 15 rather than 21. We'll side switch when there's a total of 5 points on the board. There will be no technical timeout at halfway, but the teams can call their own timeout in this sprint to decide the bronze medal at the FIVB World Tour Finals here in Hamburg, Germany.
Artacho has an opportunity here to tie up the scores, but leave it up to Carroll up at the net, gets a stuff block. You know, Australia could have taken care of business here in 2 sets, but you do not want to give life to any Brazilian team. They know how to get back. They haven't been playing their best ball. Antonelli with a lot of hitting errors. 4-2 in the blocking category. Carroll is winning as we look at Brazil's serve placement. 79%. There you go, right there. They're going all to Artacho, trying to take Clancy out of it, but Clancy is right in the mix because she loves to hit on that second contact. So there you see the strategy. I would like to see Brazil serve Artacho a little tougher. That would make the over on 2 option a little more difficult, and we need a little more consistency out of Australia if they're going to get a victory here and take home that bronze medal. They have to capitalize on opportunities like this one.
Well, it's a little scrappy. It's not the cleanest. You can see the pressure is starting to get to both of the teams out there. But Australia put the first point on the board here. Again, going over as early as she possibly can, Clancy, to take the score. Antonelli on the attack for Brazil. Ball is out of play.
Well, there's going to be a challenge there. That ball, I'll tell you what, wasn't even close to being in. Oh, there's the honor call. Australia
Touch.
actually giving themselves up. Of course, there's a touch right there. It's really a small touch, but a lot of sportsmanship by Clancy and Artacho saying that they did touch the ball, so no need for a challenge there. And that is the correct call. Every point is crucial, but you love to see the sportsmanship.
It's amazing how things turn around, isn't it, in a match? Because now Antonelli can do no wrong with the placement of her shots, when in the first set she put 9 out of bounds. Here she is with service. Brazil have the early lead at 2-1. Service error, an easy point back for Australia. Scores tied at 2-all, 1 set all.
Yeah, well, you just know that Antonelli's not going to continue to hit balls out of bounds. You have to take advantage when she is cold. And Brazil, give them credit. They have managed to hang around, and now they have a great opportunity here in the tie-break set. But Artacho ripping it down the middle. Artacho, who's been a little bit quiet as of late, asserting herself back into the mix here with a rip right down the middle between the blocker and to the left of the defender. And Antonelli has got to play the close one. She thought that was out, but way inside the line there.
Australia now with the advantage of 3-2. Clancy with that big serve. Another good shot from Carroll over the top of the block. No cover in defense from Artacho.
Carroll, a beautiful roll shot, very composed right there. And she's got to stay alert because a lot of the serves are going to her partner, but every once in a while, Australia's going her way.
It's good play from Australia. Perfect set from Artacho. Cross court from her partner Clancy. Australia's serve. Serving Antonelli. It's a great up from Artacho. And Antonelli puts one out of bounds. A break for Australia at 6-3.
Wow, I can't believe another ball out of bounds. We're going to get a challenge on this one, finally, by Brazil. This one's very close. Antonelli goes for the down the middle, and that ball looks like it's about an inch long. Oh, yeah, more than that. It's a few inches long, and so this is going to be an easy challenge. Way out. And so Brazil's going to lose one of their challenges. They should have one challenge remaining. Each team with 2 challenges per set. If you're incorrect, you lose a challenge, so Brazil down to 1. Oh, the drop shot. The dreaded drop shot. Both defenders are back on their heels. And the short shot rolls over. Antonelli, with all the experience in the world, 12 titles under her name, and she's done it with shots like that. So despite the struggles of hitting double-digit balls out of bounds already in this match, she's trying to rein it in.
Oh, great play from Clancy. Won't be the first or the last time that we've seen that over on 2.
Yeah, this is a little kind of panicky, quick poke shot, and fortunately, it goes down.
Yeah, Australia will take any point anyway at the moment. Here's Clancy with serve. Well, almost. I was watching that one very carefully, Dave, to see whether it went out of play. But Antonelli not buckling under the pressure that she's put herself under.
That's one of her crisper shots, let's say. Puts it right exactly where she wants to, and Brazil trailing by 1.
It's a better shot from Artacho, and she goes cross court. She hasn't had much luck going up against Carroll's block. That's definitely the way for the Australian to play.
Yeah, cross court around Carroll's block has been successful. Like I said, she's very creative, though. Anytime the ball's close, she knows how to joust, knows how to put it away. And that is out as well. I believe that's error number 12 for Maria Antonelli. She will not be challenging that. Very clear that that ball is long. And so Antonelli, 2012 Olympian, finishing 9th with Toledo, is continuing to have her struggles on the court as Clancy and Artacho starting to step it up. Now up 9-5. And we saw them in a similar situation. Don't want to jinx them, but in the semifinals, they were up 10-6, I believe, against the Czech Republic, and let that lead get away. Let's see how they respond here, if they can close the door on the Brazilians. Artacho having a good time, pointing out her partner as Carol and Antonelli. It's entertaining watching them. 12 errors, and I believe those are all, yeah, that is all Maria Antonelli right there on the left. With the most experience on the court. That just goes to show you, some days you have off days, but give Antonelli a lot of credit. She's doing whatever she can to try to keep them in this match, but she's going to have to start hitting the court. I don't know when the last time I saw this many errors and still a team in the mix to get the victory.
Oh, that's good play from Clancy. And that could be the turning point of this bronze medal match. The Brazilians calling a timeout to try and break the focus, concentration, rhythm of the Australian play. And then as soon as they come back onto court, Australia advance their lead to 5 now. Surely they're not going to let this one slip. Now for Australia. And this is a disappointment for Brazil. Remember, in the last major in the FIVB World Tour in Vienna, back on the weekend of the 8th of August, they were in the Final Four there and had to settle for 4th position. And they're facing the same result here again today, Dane.
This is incredible. Australia is on a run of 8 of the last 10 points they have scored. So complete domination. 76 kilometers per hour. Talika Clancy crushing that ball cross court.
It's a good shot from Antonelli. Those 12 errors against her name. Hardly surprising that her confidence is not where it normally would be at this point in a bronze medal match. Here's Antonelli with service. Well, is Antonelli just playing safe with some of those shots now rather than attacking at full power? Because that seemed a relatively straightforward point for the Australian ladies. 12-6 now, remember. It's a third set tiebreak. We're only heading to 15 if you're too clear. Oh, now they can do no wrong. 13-6. This is a great save from Artacho.
Yeah, I love how Artacho moves in the sand, predicting where that hit is going. Doing a great job. Gets both arms on that pass, doesn't go with one hand, and Clancy able to put it away.
Service error from Clancy. Quick side switch with a total of 20 points on the scoreboard. No real advantage from either end of the court. Certainly no wind or sunlight issues here. It's a little cooler today than it was throughout the rest of the competition. Players are certainly enjoying that, especially when you're playing two big matches in one day. Carroll with the service. She's at the net already, but Clancy sees her running in and goes cross-court. 14-7. It's match point now for Australia.
Australia really playing well. Look at Artacho teeing up her partner, Clancy, for the rip cross court. And it's been all Australia here in this third set, catching fire and never looking back.
Now that one looked to be good, much to the relief of Maria Antonelli.
It's been a rough match for Antonelli. I don't even know. It's one of the matches you maybe don't even want to watch the tape. Just move on to the next, and 12 hitting errors.
Second match point for the Australians. Just need to side out here. Antonelli with the service. Clancy over on two. Antonelli puts a hand to it, which gives Australia the bronze medal at the FIVB Tour Finals.